What's happening? Andy here. I'm joined today by Paul Banco from etherFAX. etherFAX is in New Jersey. How you doing today, Paul?
It's cold. It's cold. I'm doing well. Thanks for having me. I've been digging out from a tremendous amount of snow here, but we're surviving.
So we all got that snow. It's still kind of going across here too in Rochester. It's February in Rochester. I can't really complain about it at this point. But great to see you. We caught up with you towards the end of last year and talked about some of the fax software that you guys have come out with over the last few years. Actually, some technology that seems to make fax still relevant, believe it or not,
Yep.
as a highly secure way to transmit documents, right? So I wanted to talk to you. I've been spending some time on your website, and I wanted to talk about certifications with you guys today because I see you have tons of certifications on your website. I'll put a link in the description below this video. But let's talk about all these different things you connect to and the certifications you guys had to go through as a company, and what that means, and what that does for your customers, and just your ability to properly support people and companies.
Yeah, great question, great topic. We're super excited about it. We're very passionate about security, and our industry as a whole really needs to take a hard look at what they're doing in terms of security. They have to stop pleading the conduit clause, which is just another way of saying we really don't care about your security because we get to plead this clause. But yeah, there are several different types of certifications, and right now etherFAX is both PCI Level 1 certified, and we're also high trust certified. And we're not self-certified, and there's a big difference.
So I want to talk about that after you finish describing what you are, the ones that you've actually attained from these other companies. You didn't self-certify. These are actual legitimate certification. And then I do want to spend some time talking about the self-certification process that we're seeing pop up. So finish telling me about the ones that you've obtained, and then what you had to go through to get those.
Yeah, it's no easy task. Our first certification was PCI Level 1, around 200, close to 300 plus controls. That was the first certification that we obtained here at etherFAX. We then embarked on the journey of getting high trust certification. And the high trust organization, I have to hand it to them, as well as our QSA compliance point. They did a tremendous job. They were very rigorous, having to provide evidence. You can't just say you're doing this. You had to provide evidence. It was an unbelievable journey. We were scrutinized from our policies, our procedures, our security protocols, our background checks, especially when it comes to high trust. They score in 19 different domains. So, although it was costly, it made us a better company. We really got to take a look at, what's under the hood in terms of if we were compliant or not compliant, if you will. And our team, it took the entire team here at etherFAX, from engineering to development to marketing, to make sure that we achieved this, or that we were in compliance, with the high trust domain.
So to get these compliance certifications, did you, throughout these processes, and they sound like some of them were pretty extensive, did you find things that you actually did change within your company to meet these certifications, like things that you thought you were doing well, but all of a sudden here's somebody else saying, no, this isn't high enough, and so you adjusted? Was there any of that went on, or were you just, beginning to end, you just nailed it?
Yeah, no, I wish. I wish it was that easy. No, absolutely. There were things that we thought that we were, secure on, that we thought that there was no issues with, and we weren't even close, to being as secure as we thought we were. It was a huge undertaking to get this. So we were, hands down, we had to meet goals. We had to get, evidence in that was then scrutinized by our QSA, then up to high trust because they do that. So yeah, there were a lot of things. High trust is around 335 controls. So we had to create policies and procedures and implement new technologies and securities to meet compliance.
And so what does that do for etherFAX now? Now that you are compliant at that level, what does that allow you to do? Who recognizes these certifications? And for dealers that are reselling you, what kind of advantage does this bring, and what markets does that help them in?
The conversations are completely different at this point now. I mean, especially the customers that we're servicing, they understand what it takes to become compliant, both PCI and high trust. So, we're being brought to the table in deals that we were never brought to before. And when our, CISO gets on with, our customer CISO, the conversation is very different. It's very high level. Oh, you guys are high trust certified. That's great. That's exactly what we're looking for.
Does that show up in bids at all?
If you asked me that 6 months ago, no. What shows up in bids a lot is, are you HIPAA certified? Which, really, yes, you could put yes. And who's really checking that? But now it's starting to show up more in bids. High Trust is becoming a highly recognized organization within the healthcare community. So we're happy that we went down this path.
So healthcare and then security. How does etherFAX fit into that? It's funny because we've talked about this before, and a lot of people have in their heads fax and that old machines that just won't go away on the back table, but that's not fax anymore, right? I mean, fax is it's more software than hardware these days. And how does that fit in with healthcare, and especially what's going on now with the compliance issues, and what's the opportunity like for people reselling it?
Yeah, I mean, fax is more than dial tone today, right? 75% of all healthcare is still transmitted over fax. So we need to make sure that it's secure. We need to make sure that the quality of service is better. And this is not just for etherFAX. This is for all of our partners and competitors across the board. So in terms of, really where it puts us, having these types of certifications allows us to do a lot more than fax. First of all, it puts complete confidence and puts the customer at ease. So the selling process, because that's the number one topic. Everybody's got an initiative to move to the cloud. And the biggest thing outside of, what is my ROI and what's my cost savings, is I need to understand the security. It's the number one conversation. It's the number one topic in any conversation. So when you come in with a high trust and a PCI service provider level 1 attestation of compliance, the conversation generally is a lot easier. And you've broken down a tremendous barrier. So this is great not only for etherFAX, but for any of our resellers that are promoting and utilizing etherFAX on the back end.
Well, let's shift to talk a little bit about some of the other certifications that are popping up now too. And we see it all over the place, not just in fax and security, but there's a lot of self-regulating going on. Let's say, and we see it everywhere. We saw it with Boeing. We talked about that earlier with Max, and they were self-regulating and certifying things they were doing, but nobody else was looking at it. And we see it with awards and in our industry and just in general. Some are legit, some aren't. How do you know? And what are the questions to ask? And what does that really mean when you see certifications and they're not, they're self-certifications? What is that?
I mean, they hold no value. They hold no weight whatsoever. Again, going back to the Boeing and the 737 Max, I mean, they really, in our eyes, they hold no weight. I mean, a lot of our competitors will have on their website, we're high trust certified because we follow the guidelines of high trust certification, or we're PCI certified and we have, self-attestation. Anybody that's serious in security knows that, what, guys, that's not good enough. That's not good enough. So the things that you should look out for, and we actually have this in our ebook, is get an attestation of compliance. All right. And make sure that attestation of compliance was signed by a credible auditor. I can tell you early on, High Trust told us that they had a lot of auditors that were just, fly by the seat of their pants. And they have really, really become strict with more of their auditors. And that goes the same for the PCI Council. So make sure they're a reputable auditor. Generally, these AOCs are anywhere between 3 to 18 pages. And then if you're still not 100% satisfied with just an attestation of compliance, ask for the full report. Our full report is available. We do redact information in there because there is some information in there that we don't want out in the public. But ask for the 330 plus page report if you're not 100% confident, and look at all the controls and the policies and procedures that are around those controls.
I would think dealing, I mean, we're talking liability, right? And you're dealing with high level security, transmitting documents, HIPAA compliance, and just all these other compliance issues on top of that. If you're reselling this stuff, if you're reselling software, you want these certifications. You want to know that that software has gone through a legitimate process. And there's another, at the end of the day, you want to be able to point a finger at somebody and say, look, they said this is good enough, rather than my guys said this is good enough, right? I mean, that's got to be helpful at some level or another.
Absolutely. And high trust covers everything from, your wireless in your office to your background checks, how are you scrutinizing drug tests. I mean, they cover the gamut, across these 19 domains.
In healthcare. In
healthcare. And a lot of high trust maps to other certifications and other requirements such as NIST, such as FedRAMP. And they actually have the ability to show you where you exceed expectations or meet compliance in some of those other areas. So yeah, it's the real deal. It's legit. It's not cheap. We spend hundreds of thousands of dollars a year, and the amount of manpower and resources to ensure our customers' security. And that speaks volume. And every single one of our competitors should do the same for the good of the industry.
I agree. They, security is no joke, and we can talk all day about all the different types of companies, big, little, enterprise level, that have just been taken down and left the door open in one way or another, and they get hammered. And it doesn't matter if somebody gets nailed from phishing within your organization, or whether they come in through an open port in a printer or fax software. You've got to make sure that if you're the teams securing this, you want to shut these doors down. You want to go with a good, legitimate company. This was very educational. Speaking of healthcare, you mentioned you've got a big show coming up where people can see you. If anyone's going to, tell me about that show you've got coming up and what you're doing there.
Well, it's still on the schedule. We'll see what happens.
We're hoping, right? We're getting back to normal.
We're the National HIMSS Conference, which is out in Las Vegas in August, no less. Don't worry, they'll have the AC pumping. We're really, really, really looking forward to that show. We have our etherFAX, partner event coming up here in a couple of weeks, where we're going to be showcasing a bunch of new products that we're really excited for. Our AI, our Eris product, which is really a WriteFAX integration module replacement, which has just been so successful. So we're really, really excited. Our FHIR integration is right around the corner, being able to deliver unstructured data in structured format using the FHIR protocol. The etherFAX team has grown. So we're really, really, really excited. We're looking forward to the future. Our pipeline's tremendous. Our roadmap's tremendous. The integrations and the partnerships that are in the final stages of formation. There's going to be some really nice announcements coming around the next month or two. So we're looking forward to it.
It's incredible to think that we're still talking facts, but the opportunities, especially in healthcare right now, in the security level that you offer, it's just technology that just won't go away, and you guys seem to really be on it. Congrats on those certifications. And after the partner conference, let's do another one of these and talk about all the new products that you announced at that conference. And any dealers that want to get in touch with you guys, I'll make sure there's a contact link below this video. But Paul, thanks so much for stopping by and taking the time to talk about and educate us on these certifications.
Thanks, Andy. It was great seeing you again.
Good seeing you too. Take care. Bye-bye.
Thanks. Bye-bye.